Give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise to the mystic laws of the universe and its protective functions and forces in nature that guide our thoughts and our path in all ways that are lawful, correct, and positive. Give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise. Greetings, free people across the earth. Greetings. The doctrine of Christian discovery and conquest. Usually, what's first is truest. And I discover that most people is totally unaware that we are Americans here first. We are here before they created their corporation called the United States of America. And when we say America, we are talking about this side, this continental so-called area. On this side, usually we as a people get distracted with what is known as a whole bunch of information, all kind of information. But people tend to start in the 1700, in the 1800, in the 1900, and them talk about the 1930s and all of their so-called revolution at that time. But I say, how do we get to this point? And then you have to look at what is known as the doctrine of discovery. And I like to call it the doctrine of Christian discovery, which is a principle of international law dating from the late, them would say as late as the 15th century. It has its roots in a papal decree issued by Pope Nicholas V in 1452 that specifically sanctioned and promote the conquest, colonization, and exploitation of non-Christian territories and peoples. Hundreds of years of decisions and laws continuing right up to our own time can ultimately be traced back to the doctrine of discovery. Laws that invalidate or ignore the rights, sovereignty, and humanity of aboriginals or indigenous peoples across the earth, not just in America, but across the earth. It is said in 1823, the United States Supreme Court ruled in Johnson versus McIntosh that the discovery rights of European sovereigns had been transferred to the new United States. The United States then have unequivocally acceded to the great and broad rule by which its civilized inhabitants now hold this country. They hold and assert in themselves the title by which it was acquired. They maintain, as all others have maintained, that discovery gave an exclusive right to extinguish the Indian title of occupancy either by purchase or conquest, and gave also a right to such a degree of sovereignty as the circumstances of the people would allow them to exercise. So you see, when them talk about Indian people, we here have to declare and know, so them talk about we the aborigines, we where you say of dark skin, we where you say all others come here, come say and intermingle. Because we have dark skin foreigners from other location outside of this place known as America that came here. So this was actually their promised land, and we were their promise. So when we have Pan-African people now in this day and age talking about whatever movement, and they want to go back to Africa, I've seen where Pan-African here leave this landmass and go over in Africa, South Africa, North Africa, West Africa, to fight for liberation of those people there, while we here remain captive psychologically by way of, you'd say, paper genocide, paper enslavery, propaganda, misinformation. So if I am here when these foreigners came here, then who am I? How can you come from a place that you call Africa? That's where you're coming from, so-called Columbus. A whole different hemisphere, so-called. And when you come to my land and you say you're going to tell say I am of your land, I am African. That's the heights of usurpation. So when you say Indian here, this is why you say the Hindu people came here, usurping those names. And it's nothing new. You see all of these things all over history. It's just a matter of your agenda or your point of view. So I don't pay attention to these new revolutionists with all of these Marcus Garvey movement and all of these Rastafari movement and all of these new things. I say, what happened at the start? How did we get to this point? And I say, foreigner come here and pollute our place and spoil our place and spoil our people. That's all I'm saying. And the very same people who come to this landmass, this area, and I try claim it for themselves, them are going to wipe out the people that them come and see first. Or them are going to make an effort to do that. And them are going to change the people. Them are going to call you Indian first, then them say no, that too much. Then them call you colored. Then them call you black. Then them call you African. You understand? They'll never call you what you are, who, you know, according to the construct is you're American. You have a document called the Charter of New England, 1620. And that's when you'll see where they are creating their council and created their corporation called the United States of America. They came to America and did that, where they are trying to section off a little area and calling it, yes, this is where they are starting their governance. So people have missed this thing. And even my islands here, all the island is considered archipelago, it's considered America. So all you Pan-Africans, you have to start from the beginning and bring truth. This is why the Rastafarian movement probably not gone away, because the truth is that you're not no African. That's the truth. And the foundation of your Rastafarian movement is taking our people from this landmass and taking us to Africa, which is a strange land to us. And then you're going to give our land to foreigners. Some people know, most other Rastas have no idea that they are home. Mama Africa is for the Africans, and America is for the Americans. It's not for the white man. This is the misconception. It's just like when Europeans look just like I, and a change came across that area. Now people identify Europeans with, the pale race of people. And now they're trying to identify American as a pale race of people. And this is the problem. So because we over here are dark skinned, they're saying we're from that side over there. So are you saying the original people that is here, the Aborigines, so-called, were pale people? Can you prove that anywhere? With your archaeology, your anthropology, with your history? No. We have been here since time immemorial, and all kind of construct came here and rearrange us, label us, misuse us. And it's still happening today. For most people, because they are scholarly, they'll definitely approach it this way. But for a man like I, who say we are just a common man, who choose to apply yourself to become uncommon, we try to learn from everywhere. And anywhere truth there, when a mind hang out. Yeah, man. And when a mind remove the contradiction from whatever body of information in order to ascertain the truth accordingly, the truth according to what is presented, the truth as how we see it. Because I get to discover, so probably my truth not necessarily be a next man's truth. You know what I mean? So we say back, we bring forth the evidence and make the evidence speak for itself. So all I'm gonna have to go look and find out what is the doctrine of discovery. And you apply yourself. And you start there. And then you research, the document what I'm called the Charter of New England, 1620. And you get some ideas and see what's going on. And ask yourself, for the people that will find themselves in a state where they have to ask, what is going on? Why are we suffering like this? Why are we seem to be enslaved? Because you have a set of people across the earth who live that way. You ask them, why is that? How can you own the land or be off the land, yet you're viewed as only commodity, where other people are profit from your existence and a profit from your land? And when I say other people, I mean foreigners, because the very foreigners create all kind of corporations, all kind of construct, and employ our people. Without full disclosure, we find ourselves in engaging, foreign trade, what them call commerce, which is governed by these foreigners. So we have to go to the root so we can ascertain the truth. So when we talk about being free, we know what we are talking about. We're tired of people, parasitic people, living off our existence. You know what I mean? Viewing us as commodities. Having our intellectual property exchanged for their benefit and for their use. And no one is saying absolutely nothing about it. Everybody trying to find comfortable ways to participate in this mess, in this commercial mess. And that is a truth. Notice I'm not here calling any names. You know what I mean? We are taking it to its origin. When the foreign man came here, they came here from Spain to our island right here. They came here from Spain. And when they came here in 1492, they went to Haiti. In 1494, they came to this island called Zamayaka. And when they came to Zamayaka, this is the Spanish people, same foreigners. When they came here in 1509, they set up what is known as a governance and called this place Santiago. So it was no longer known as Zamayaka because them create a construct where we don't know nothing about. Them even do it without we knowing it. We don't know what go on. We just step on our place and know say some foreign people come here and some of our people kind of take on to them and some of our other people afraid of them and know so we are war them. And by between 1509, while this place was known as Santiago, the British foreigners now, the British foreigners came here in 1655. I'm talking about my island right here. This crown state where we have a king's house, Zamayaka. So when they came to Santiago, formerly known as Zamayaka, these British people call my place Jamaica, and they state the claim. And from that time until now, we are being governed by the United Kingdom, that British Empire. And I'm not just, talking off the top of my head. I'm saying, look at the documents. Our last document, corporate charter that was in place, it's called the 1948 British Nationality Act. Listen to it again. It's a corporate charter. It's called the British Nationality Act of 1948. And that document, that act was amended to the 1962 Constitution of Jamaica. This was when this foreign construct was removing itself or relinquishing whatever kind of so-called authority at the time and said, hey, you get independence. And right within that time, according to the documents, the same Jamaica formed an alliance and a treaty with the United States Corporation. And all of these things are documented out there. So when we are talk about what's going on, we have to get to the root. A man like me not go just, take what some other guy has said, where them a defend some things from 1930, where a next man tell them, say, look over there, sir, and call a man the king and God. And everybody know, because a lack of knowledge, I say, hey, that man is king and God. So what happened to you? You can't be the same king, and you can't be the same God. What's wrong with you? This is our problem with our people. We look outside ourselves. We always want somebody to lead us. We don't necessarily want to choose to lead ourselves. So a man like me, I don't mind I learn from the elders, but me know, sir, if the elders them, what they know, attack certain things, it's correct, we wouldn't in this state. Because none of them bring the information on this island, what I bring forward. Not one elder. I never hear Muta Baruka say you have an absolute right, a divine right to be free. I never hear none of these elders saying these things. And this information what I bring is not insurgency. It's not, hey, I'm going against the system and I want to overthrow. Hey, we don't have no interest in it. We know what it is. You get me? It's a corporate construct. It's an artificial construct. And it only can deal with artificial entities. So we don't have no interest in overthrowing or even participating with that artificial construct. And this is our view here. This is our stance here. We adhere to a universal principle, universal law, laws of nature, divine law. Yeah, man, not man-made rules, regulations, and corporate charters or corporate bylaws. That's a separate and distinct artificial constructs. So by our own free will, we say we don't mind to learn. We don't have a problem learning. But we want truth. And when people void truth, we said no problem. We would just ignore what we not deal with and move forward. It's not hard to research. No, it's not hard to ask certain questions to yourself and go in front of any computer and you spend some time and you will ascertain as much information you need. You get me? And then you qualify those information and you take your time, move forward. It's neither here nor there. It's not a back and forth thing. People like to distract themselves with he say, she say. You understand? People don't necessarily want to focus on solution. People don't necessarily want to be free. Most people are consumed in commerce. Totally. Cannot help themselves. And as such, that's all them can emit. I say freedom, freedominion, that's the advocacy. That's the advocacy. And as we can see, everything is a process. And for a man like me, with no I man free, you know what I mean? I man really have to respect the fact where I cannot interfere with other people's property. This is why I always only can address the people and that consider themselves free. So I say greetings, free people. The people that are not may be offended. I can't too concern myself with that. We can only address the people and we choose to be free, because that is a choice. Ain't nobody stopping you from choosing to be free. But I say step by step, people. Step by step. Salute, my good brother Hassan Blake. Salute, my good brother Dimitri. Yeah, man. I come across people where I like them style, I like the information where them I bring, I like them, you know, a lot of things, but there's other things where I'm still skeptical at. So I'm not necessarily, I got just run into people per se. Yeah, man, I like the work them what people are doing, I find interesting. Yeah, man, like this Sister Cynthia K. Curry, something like that. Yes, beautiful platform. Court of Ages, I like them kind of information there. You know what I mean? The only issue I have there is that you can't step on people free will. A man if you can choose to come hang out with what you are dealing with, or a man can choose not to. A man can choose to say, boy, he want to go left, right, center. That is a man free will. So I don't really interfere with people free will. And I stick to my kind, I love my kind. I don't have a problem with every other else kind, but you said my kind, my people. Yeah, man, I really address my people. You understand? I can, you know, you just associate, and I can identify, and I can, you know, resonate with my people. You get me? On an international level, yeah, I man can exist harmoniously with all other people, but my people are got truly different from others, because it is obviously evident as such, where our views will be a little bit different, because we're different. We might be on the earth, but we're different. You know what I mean? So our views are going to be such. And we're not necessarily are the type of people where I go allow nobody to tell we say I saw it go and throw it down with throat. We don't agree with them kind of step there. So I honor free will. This is why we say our work Indian nation is a set apart society. It's just a group of ones and ones where discover themselves in a sovereign state capacity. You know what I mean? And we still not try impose. We just say this is who we are, and we choose to do our thing our way. We choose to adhere to a much higher principle. You know, we much higher than ourselves, so we have to always try to know that this is the level where we have to try maintain. We not necessarily conform to legality, because we know that is artificial or opposed to law. Yeah, man, and your corporate charter can only be law if it is consented as such. You know what I mean? And it will always be corporate charter bylaws. When we talk about law, we are talking about natural law, nature's law, unwritten law, do no harm. Yeah, man. Salute, Bolinga. Salute, sis. Yeah, man. So a lot of people like to talk about, you know, the things that in just the 1900s, but them not talk about, you know, what go on way before then, what put we in a this kind of condition, because that are going to interrupt too much other things. Too much truth are going to be discovered that way. If you are an African and you want to liberate Africa and you want to do everything for Africa, I salute you. I say, go on. Take all the resources and go. We need people that stand up for us as American here, irrespective of whichever island you're from. And when you say you're a Jamaican, what are you saying? What does it mean to be a Jamaican citizen or a citizen of Jamaica? What does that mean? Is there any alternative? We now have a discussion on that level. When we talk about a man called Leonard Percival Howell, as what is written, is the first man who come and create this Rastafari movement coming from Marcus Garvey, this Rastafari faith. This is the very first man where I tell you, say, look over there, so cause Selassie black like him and Selassie have to pray towards God. That is the man we say. And at one time when the people them say Jah Rastafari, them say Marcus Garvey, Mosiah Garvey is his name. Yeah, man. But people kind of miss these things.
JBN, we keep you informed. The man who started the Rastafarian faith, Leonard P. Howell, in the 1930s, Jamaica was under the colonial rule of Britain, and the descendants of the slaves faced a tough and terrible life. Subsequent to the Morant Rebellion in 1865, the government built prisons and the Bellevue Asylum to lock away not only those who ran afoul of the law, but those who lashed out against the unbalanced social and economic order, which saw a color or class bias.
Right there, my people. Right there. You get the foundation and the creation of a place like Bellevue. They had what is known as a lunatic asylum here on the island before, and this was in the colonial time. And the moment you look out against, you get the system as it is and the oppression, then you're deemed insane and you're taken to Bellevue. You understand? Again, I'm not the one who's saying it, people. I'm not the one who's saying it. And again, you'll hear when the people, this is where you call indoctrination in the people. You're going to hear when the people, I chant, and I say, boy, Jah Rastafari, Jah Rastafari, Mosiah Garvey is his name. Listen to it. Listen to it.
JBN, we keep you informed. The man who started the Rastafarian faith, Leonard P. Howell, in the 1930s, Jamaica was under the colonial rule of Britain, and the descendants of the slaves faced a tough and terrible life. Subsequent to the Morant Rebellion in 1865, the government built prisons and the Bellevue Asylum to lock away not only those who ran afoul of the law, but those who lashed out against the unbalanced social and economic order, which saw a color or class bias, regulating blacks to a landless, illiterate, and marginalized sect. Out of that quagmire rose a few courageous Jamaicans who resolutely fought to make black beautiful and uplift the minds of their brothers and sisters who had been suppressed by centuries of oppression. One of those black men was Leonard Percival Howell, who came face to face with his blackness while in Harlem, New York, where he met national hero Marcus Garvey and enlisted in the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Howell was born June 16, 1898, the first of 11 children to parents Charles Talafius Howell and Clementina Bennett in Red Hills, Clarendon. At age 13, Howell witnessed the murder of a woman by her boyfriend. He refused to testify against the accused man, who was represented by Jamaica's first black lawyer, J.H. Smith, who was considered the poor man's barrister and champion of the black man in post-emancipation Jamaica. The state was angered by the boy's stance, and in order to avoid the prosecution of his son, Howell's father, who was a major stakeholder in the Jamaica banana export industry, arranged to smuggle his son aboard a banana boat that left for America in 1912. After spending 20 years traveling the world, Howell was imprisoned in the United States and deported to Jamaica. He then renewed ties with Garvey, and after a few years started his own sect and embarked on a campaign to enlighten the disenfranchised blacks whom he believed should stop paying homage to a white god and the taxes to an oppressive colonial. Howell began preaching that Emperor Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia was the black messiah and urged black people to worship him as their god and king. The coronation of Selassie.
Well, people, when I hear who I tell our people and encourage and urge our people to look to Emperor Haile Selassie as God. And if there is a picture of Emperor Haile Selassie, and there them have an image of what I look like. And when I look for Emperor Haile Selassie, phenotypically, I not say the same thing. So, fair use with this thing, because this is how we have to bring it forward. You know what I mean? We don't want to just say it. We have to make uno see it for ourselves. You know what I mean?
In 1930, saw many world leaders in attendance, and the sons of King George V of England brought gifts and bowed before Selassie during the ceremony. This gave Howell the ammunition he needed, and he was quoted as saying, "The Lion of Judah has broken the chain, and we, the black race, are finally free. George V is no longer our king. George V sent his son to bow down to our new king, Rastafari." That and other statements led to Howell being charged with sedition. He went on trial on March 13, 1934, and was successfully prosecuted by the same prosecutor, H.M. Radcliffe, whose case he had destroyed by refusing to testify against the man who killed his girlfriend as a boy. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison, but the great public interest of his trial made him into a cult hero. After his release from prison, Howell left Trinityville, St. Thomas, and purchased a property at East Queen Street in Kingston. Before relocating to a 500-acre property he bought in Sligoville, St. Catherine, and called it Pinnacle Regime. Howell is regarded as the founding father of the Rastafari faith, and his following grew rapidly. Soon many skilled craftsmen and women, nurses, and other professionals took up residence at Pinnacle, which is one of the first self-sustaining communities in the island. The residents planted a variety of ground provisions, including ganja, red livestock. There was a school, a bakery, and wells. The surplus crops would be sold to outsiders, and many of the residents of Pinnacle were able to take care of their needs without depending on outside sources. But the state would have none of it, and Howell and his followers were made to live a life of hell for daring to resist the social order. According to Howell's son Monty, his father was targeted by the state and sent to prison or the asylum more times than he can remember.
Radish everything and little party is dispatched from Pinnacle. German society, people say if you kill off the Rasta.
The situation in Jamaica at the time, when a black man was thinking in the form of a black god and king, this was so outlandish that they branded him a madman. He followed the leaders before him, who decided to stray from the colonial order, like Marcus Garvey and Bedward, the 74-year-old Howell said. Alexander Bedward was a revivalist preacher who preached against the colonial masters and was convicted of sedition and committed to the asylum. Upon his release, he continued his preaching and was rumored to have declared he was the reincarnation of Jesus Christ and claimed he would ascend into heaven like Elijah. He was said to have jumped off a high perch and fell to his death. However, that claim has been refuted by black historians who claim the colonial masters spread the...
I think this is what the religious part of things do to our people. I remember telling you, the doctrine of Christian discovery and conquest came here from in the 1400s, convert our whole place. So even man like, Bedward, them man they did that much run up at Augusta. And Augusta, we have some, listen, you say because them divide with people, this is why you say we are like this. And then you have a next set of ones just come well, so them go to some university and get conditioned within these university, and then they come out with this Afrocentric mentality, and then no bother with the Pan-American movement that was there. Them introduced Pan-Africanism here, where them are gonna tell you who are originally from here, say you're from someplace else. And even Columbus in his diary, I gotta tell us that when him came here, him said the people them call Arawak people. And we as Awuwak is the very same people. So you say, in order for discredit you, we are bring certain kind of truth, certain kind of unbiased information. Them are gonna tell us, boy, you're mad. Now listen to me now, people. All when you're not mad, them will mad you. You understand? I'm showing you guys plain what them say at the beginning. Them build prison and them build Bellevue for people who go against the colonial rule, the colonial oppression, the colonial foreign system. So you see a man like me, it wouldn't be a problem for them. So I mean, them man, them mad. So this is why you hear Muta Baruka I try push the agenda there. I say, oh, them mentally ill man there. When him know say him in the lodge meeting with him friend them, where them I say, watch it, hold him know, and make sure you put on paper say mentally ill and just juke him. Just get some big strong man in our prison for just hold him and juke him. And them thing that Muta Baruka advocate on behalf of whatever else set a friend them and organization where him is a part of. Because them man they not talk them truth yet. And me keep telling all a man like Muta and the rest of them friend them say, once you not deal with Africa, and just leave, just lift up and go around there. And leave around here so for we choose for say, boy, this is who we are. Lift, man, Africa, big pretty place, man. Have everything where we have around here, man. So enough for just lift and go around there, man, and leave this rock here for the American people and will know themselves. The American man would choose not to sell out. The sovereign man, the free people of this land. This is why we have all of these kind of confusion. When you jump out of the corporate body politic, you jump right into religion. You understand? This is why we say we adhere to a much higher order. You know, the universal order. We adhere to the laws of nature. natural law. Well, we now try to bring the earth now no harm to no one. According to the good sister, our living system, we give honor to. And I would go so far as say, all living system that is cognizant of its existence. Because living system there, we're not cognizant of nothing at all. So this is the clarity what we like to bring. What is the foundation? What is the root? Where you come from with your thing? My thing say what? We are first people. First nation. We are what them call Awuwak. And then uno come call we Indian. Because remember, you know, we never serve no kind of thing with uno religion. We never have that. We just salute nature and nature's creator. And that's how we are take our thing. We are giving back on the man-made things. And who choose to accept for the man-made things that at them do that at them free will choice. So see it here. If this pastor here never talk about him a vision and all these things, them would not say mad. I not come with no vision. I say I self-proclaimed Nestorian king, meaning within ancient. And when we say ancestral lineage, me I say, watch here, me never drop out of the sky. You get me? Just like how me have a mom and a dad, my mom and dad had such, and it go on to the beginning. However, you have some people who are creating a laboratory, so them cannot acknowledge ancestors like how I can say, give thanks and praise to the ancestral spirit where animate I. Yeah, man, we may look like the same, you know, but we are not the same. And we can't be the same if I have a head on my body, yes, sir. And you have your own over there, sir. We can never be the same. You understand? So them kind of truth, yeah. Run the tape, yeah.
The rumor to sully his name in an attempt to erase his memory from the black population. Between 1941 and 1954, the police raided Pinnacle as a matter of course. Each time the police would seize cash banked in the community that amounted to thousands of pounds of fortune in those days, claiming it was the proceeds of the sale of ganja.
You see how long them are pressure people. Looking at them time, that in the 40s. And you talk about you have 3,000-4,000 pounds. Yeah, it's a fortune them thing that we're doing. This is why you say the foreign system come and talk about them own with property and them own with land and them own we as man and woman. And nobody rebut it except I around here. I'm not rebut it with no religion. I'm not no more. I'm not no Christian. You get me? I am the living soul manifest as man. Manifest as man. So the flesh here, so the blood here. There is a heart and a lung. And there is a brain with cognizance of man's self. I am he. We now look outside ourselves in a leader. We're looking at the mirror to find our leader. We now look outside ourselves and look to no Ethiopia or no Africa for no God. We're looking at the mirror to find that. It's simple for us, and this is our free will choice. Anything else we want to have, don't impose it. This is why we have problem, because man, they are chat some things and I know where it come from. Who are you? If you are not American, leave this land. Let the American stand. It's simple as that. If you're attached to a corporation, then that's what you are. You're a product, a byproduct of these corporations. And all corporation is engaged in commerce. It's commercial in all its aspect, all of them. So see where them you also say ganja is problematic. Why? Because of our little cash crop. A man can just go up on him house top, a man can go in him backyard, a man can get 2 little keg and him plant up him little thing and him know say him get all a 2 or a 3 pound from that and him take time chop up that and him not engage in no governmental not at all. Him can plant 2 banana, him can plant 2 yam, him can plant 2 this, him can plant 2 that. Just a few things. And him must sustain himself. But the system don't want that. Now, you have some little college people. Some people were going to some places and get turned around. And then them come back. And then them lobby with some other people to legalize the same poor people cash crop. Unbeknownst to the poor people, I must say legalize it. Because remember when all man like Peter Toucher saying legalize it. And I know say him never have a clue what him talk about. Because the moment you legalize anything at all, you change it, you don't have no more authority nor control over it. It gone into commerce. Foreign man responsible for it now. Once it legalized, what is legalization? You get me? Legalization of anything will go against what is lawful. It's simple. It's like you have the right to move. Jump in any vehicle and move. You don't need to attach yourself to no corporation in order to exercise a divine free will. You don't need to. However, everything a free will choice. So you see, a lot of long time man we do some whole heap of great things. Me have to ask you what want to do for we around here, sir? Because one thing we not tolerate now, we not emphasizing is criminality. We not have to engage in a criminality in order to get our point across. You get me? This is why I'm not advocating a war. I not say my public officers or my public officials is at war with me. No. Once I'm in the public, them there for aid I. And all I have to do is have knowledge to instruct them accordingly. It's as simple as that for me. When I say the back and forth and the twist and the turn is when we not have enough information, then we're going to move that way. We're going to carry and conduct ourselves a certain way because we not have enough knowledge, enough information. And when we act emotionally, because when you get some information, you say, "Wow, this, yeah, your emotion, yeah." But again, everything a learning process, everything a growth. Some of our ancestors, some of our old elders, them not grow nowhere. Them stay one place, rigid, like a Muta Baruka. We're probably him trace for him ancestral lineage. And sister boy, I'm African, so I tell every man say them for go back to Africa. And why me use Muta Baruka is because him would be the icon. Because him is the man that go back and forth to Africa. You get me? All of him thing is about Africa. No man not talks about we're American and we're free around here. You know why? Because the moment you acknowledge yourself as such, everything should change and shall change. You understand? You're going to realize, become cognizant, say, watch ya, you have always been here. And you can look upon who come here after you. You understand? And we now complain about the miscegenation because you have people who do not look like me, know this kind of truth, and stand in solidarity with this kind of truth. Knowing, say, yo, even though we're privileged, we know, say, oh no, we come take this privilege from. They know that. And you have people who acknowledge that. But you have others who say, no, we supposed to be African and we supposed to go back to Africa. And I guarantee you this, if all of we pack up now and say we go to Africa, them are going to run way out of Africa and say that we don't come from Boya. You understand? And if where we're going to set up structure, them are going to say, watch your cut. And we'll probably end up somewhere in some sea somewhere. And them think they're the truth. We see information where the same Ethiopian Rastafarian go to Ethiopia. And right now, Ethiopian system I push them out. I said, watch out, you can't get this and that, and you know, you have to live like underprivileged in this land. You have certain information, especially the Pan-African information, that was for the wealthy Rasta. That was for some uptown Rasta. And for the man them where plant them ground and know say boy, them a say boy, give thanks and praise for life. Them man they not a visa for travel. Them man they can't even move from the little community where them there. I call them man them Congo Bongo. Because Rasta a commercial term. Wanna spoil it, but we don't want to talk the truth. Enough man there in a place from all this landmass where go unknown. People not talk about them. They are blacklisted right out of history. The regular common people don't know these stories because it's not in the mainstream media. Legalize ganja. See, legalize you now. Only think a profit and a benefit. Oh.
Which Howell openly expressed is discussed with the persecution of the herb. The raids were too many to remember. There was an article that said Mrs. Howell had an infant hanging onto her skirt tail. That was me. The police would just come and arrest people for nothing. They said they had to get us off the land at Pinnacle. They even sent a 70-year-old woman to prison for ganja, he said. Howell said that as a teenager, he, along with a younger brother, and about 60 other children from the community were arrested on trumped-up charges. They came to Pinnacle for my father, but he was not there. He gave me and my brother wrist watches, one a Bulova and the other a Rolex. They asked us for the receipt for the watches, and we told them we were children. Our father gave them to us. They took us to the Spanish Town station, but they could not put us in a cell, so they kept us in the yard with about 60 other children. They told my father that if he did not come up with a certain amount of money, they would put 1 pound of ganja on my name and a pound of ganja on my brother. My father had 4 vehicles, and they took them away, Howell said. He also recalled the police coming to raid Pinnacle and confiscating 3,000 pounds, a small fortune in the 1940s, and destroying his father's personal documents, including proof of ownership of Pinnacle. So much did the authorities detest Howell that even when his wife died, he was accused of murdering her. Howell has now been released. As on pursuing the depositions, I found that according to the medical evidence, it was impossible to specify the cause of Mrs. Howell's death, and therefore to say that either her husband or anyone else had murdered her, I had no alternative but to enter a nolle, a statement from the Attorney General dated April 4th, 1944 stated, Howell was known to walk the streets of the corporate area and St. Catherine and other parishes, giving money to the poor and the children. He was arrested, beaten, and imprisoned more than 50 times, but always returned to live in Pinnacle upon his release from prison. But in 1954, the state would launch a major offensive against the Pinnacle community, which resulted in many of his followers being imprisoned while others were left homeless. In the early morning, we heard a loud banging on the door. When we opened it, it was the police who had come up the hill to the house. The main body went to East Avenue, where most of the people lived, and they gathered up a lot of people. They put the people out on the streets with only a few personal belongings. It was sickening. The people had done nothing, and now they had nowhere to live, as the police were burning down their homes, he said. The cops reportedly burned down hundreds of houses, including Howell's, and chased the people off the land. Many were sent to prison on ganja charges, and the raid in 1954 resulted in the displacement of many of Howell's followers, who went to live in various parts of the island, including St. Thomas, Clarendon, and West Kingston.
You hear that? So from Pinnacle, when they mash up Pinnacle, and listen, we have to put it in its correct context. We are talking about a time when this place is governed by the colonial powers. Right now, our public officials and public officers now is our people now in them seat there. You understand? And our people are the same people and will come up through this time and struggle. And I can't tell enough your facts. It's a different kind of thing because I can say this, you have good people in that public office. You know what I mean? These offices, you have some people that where I can tell you for absolute fact where them people would have stepped in front of certain activity or that place are in a sense in a similar situation like even Percival Howell. You understand? Because remember I'm telling you, the colonial system built Bellevue for people where oppose their regime and their oppressive stance. Right now we have different kind of officials. You understand? What all different views, and that's why me always say I respect the office of the Governor General, because we know that him never born overseas per se. And even when them schooled a certain way, because of the availability of all different kind of information, especially when I as a man here, I bring forth some information. Listen, we don't have the same problem anymore, but we still have the same system there because everybody is employed. You understand? So all we have to do is gain clarity of what go on. I say it's commerce, so we have to just know how to, navigate ourselves through this commercial sea while we stay rooted and grounded on this rock and land. So here the matter say when them leave Pinnacle, some people go all different places, including what them call Dongle, Bakawal. And I remember when the CIA Prime Minister, the Honorable, because we now, undermine enough of the work them with these. That's the ones them put in place. So we can remember when Edward Seaga now go around this and change up around here. But what some people don't know about even Edward Seaga is that before him join the Labour Party, he would step to the PNP first. Him step to the PNP and present, him resume to the People's National Party. And when them run him thing, they must say, boy, them man are, a communist. They must say, Eddie Seaga, a communist, because him with a link with Castro and him go school, what heap of schooling and thing, So then them reject him, the PNP, reject Eddie Seaga. And that's when Eddie Seaga go to the Labour right side and them acknowledge him and accept him. But most people now have them information here. That's why I'm going to deal with politics. I'm a non-political. People don't know a certain story. Yeah, we have the common people. One of them are pink, and the next one of them are lime green or lime blue. And the common people, pink and blue, wipe out each other. While them leaders sit on a Pegasus. Them leaders, a sip cognac and Dom Perignon and, a party with some of the most beautiful island ladies here. While the common folk wipe out each other in a little shanty town them, in a little garrison them, in a little makeshift communities created by these political leaders. So them true tell me like that. So when some Rasta go on like Bobo Hill it start, it never start at Bobo Hill, a Pinnacle it start. You get me? And Leonard Howell first, I tell what people say if I call the next man over so when they right yes up on the land. God. Worship him and praise him. See it here, them truth here. No one bring forward them thing here. Them truth here. And when they mash up pinnacle, seeing, because if things not truthful, it not go last, you know. Just like how the foreign system a come to an end, you know. Just like how you see all kind of religious structure in a trouble now, you know. Why? Because the truth is higher than all of these little man-made constructs.
In an area known as Dongo or Baka Wall, from which they will be eventually chased and a development built, which is now known as Tivoli Gardens. Monty Howell said that even when he became an adult, he was persecuted for his Rastafarian lifestyle. I was riding my bike from Spanish Road to Kingston when upon reaching the ferry police station, a policeman signaled me to stop and said he heard I was smuggling ganja to Kingston and so I should come into the guard room so he could search me. I refused and I started the bike and he shut it off and grabbed the key. I saw I was getting nowhere with him, so I ripped open my shirt and jumped my pants right there. I cried. He looked at me and he let me go. I left Jamaica in the 1950s because of the persecution.
1950s. A them thing that the Rasta man them, you know, the Congo man them used to go through. Rasta not go through them thing anymore. Me I telling you that. Because the moment it commercialized, you know, all, you know, when them say Rasta now, them say, oh, you mean man should have money? You know what I mean? The Rasta them will get persecuted, and the Rasta them were poor. This is why I say, boy, them commercialize it and section it up. We have Uptown Rasta where them have all kind of documentation for fly all over the world. While the little poor Rasta don't even have no idea of these things. You understand? This is the man. Seen that? That's the image of the man. You saw him face clean shave. Yeah, man. This is the man who bring the Rastafarian faith round here on the island. He might come out of Marcus Garvey school. And he never tell us, look in your mirror for find your God. Look in your mirror for find your leader. And never tell you nothing like that. He tell you to look all about the place. And if any truth they didn't these things, then it would have stand up to this day where all I would have lived on a level where we not fear complain. I man say, look in the mirror, you'll find your leader. I man say, look in the mirror, and you'll find your God. Yeah, man. And when we start look at each other as such, then we're going to respect each other. You know what I mean? We're going to probably start care about each other. We're going to probably start take care of each other. You know what I mean? We're not going to fear war. We're not going to fear, as you this, me have to kill you and all of that mess there. Actually, we'll lose our place. We'll fall from our state. We don't know ourselves. We're totally lost. People are out there drift all over the place. This is the problem. So the problem at that time, remember, you know, 1950s, this man will leave the island. And when them say we get so-called independence, the 1962, you understand? So it's a whole different kind of thing I go on, people. We have some people now where you wouldn't be surprised if all a man like me comes. So rap and just say, oh, this is what me I deal with and me have a seat in them thing and I hide this. You get me? Because you have to deal with that on a government to government basis. I own government. This is why we can say we're sovereign in our capacity, we self-govern. A whole different kind of laws apply to us. You get me? Totally separate on this thing. And you have to live accordingly. You're not going to voluntarily consent to be governed. by a corporate body politic. And at the same time, you try to tell yourself, say you're free and you're sovereign. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So it's a different time in them 1950s and 1940s and 1930s. That's when, you know, the colonial system was active. You know what I mean? It was overt. You know it's there. You know what it is. Now after 1962, it's going to the back page. You get me? But it's still there. How you know? Contact the Governor General's office and they'll explain to you what is the law of the realm. You know what I mean? And if you're off the realm, then the Governor General's office shall secure and protect your interests. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to be a subject or nothing at all. You only want to know that you're one of the original man here. And you know that. So Leonard Percival Howell is the foundation and the founder, as it is said right here. Because when we are look upon anything we say Rasta come after this. This is before even Rastafari, His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, came on this island. This is before that time. You understand? Yeah, man. So, them kind of information, yeah.
Well said. Howell lived at Pinnacle until 1956. When tired of the persecution, he relocated near Tredegar Park. But even when it was in the winter of his years, Howell was still attacked by those who disagreed with his Afrocentric view. In 1980, at 81 years of age, Howell was attacked by an angry mob at his home in Tredegar Park. The mob wanted to cut out his tongue.
You hear that? You have people who disagree with his Afrocentric views. People know them not African. And that's that of the apartheid where, you know, never gonna last, boy. Yeah. And with all of the Pan-African movement, with the new Pan-African agenda, it still won't last around here. It's like the Chinese where you say invade. When you look everywhere, you see Chinese. You see some so-called building where Chinese own and Chinese put up. And them pretty, and people tell me, oh, inside it, yes. But tell me this. Is this China? This can never be China. You understand? And no Chinese man can come in my land and make no claim that is superior to my claim. You understand? The original man here, once they make their claim, it's a superior claim here. Yeah, man. So people have to comprehend that all kind of people come around here. And even our very own are going to sell way out. Especially when they are properly, formally indoctrinated. You know what I mean? Conditioned to come in front the common folk and teach and preach. The moment them now tell you, say you is originally of this land. And all of the fancy people them want to say with them fancy look, them fancy color, and them fancy hair came here to this land and see you. The moment I'm not tell you that, then you have to just, you know say boy, them dep on a commercial agenda. Them kind of information and clarity what I bring, it not gonna be popular. You understand? But this truth is here. Lot of persecution Rasta got through, but them Rasta ya are never the commercial Rasta. Them Rasta ya Congo Bongo. You get me? It's just that when them start look to Africa, it spoil the thing. Yeah, man. Them have to look to them creator. Yeah, man. And that of the other.
And they beat and slashed him mercilessly as he fought for his life. He was saved by persons in the community who heard his cries and managed to subdue his attackers. Howell then left Tredegar Park and lived at the Sheraton Hotel for another year before he died of a heart attack. He did not recover from the mobbing. That is what killed him, his son said. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily uploads.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Them kind of information that some of our ancestors them need to bring clarity to. When you ignore the foundation and run in the middle and want to run to the end and I want to talk the truth. You understand? When the Doctrine of Discovery came here, it was a Christian conquest. You get me? And when you hear them come here and talk about Rasta, you have to go back to Africa, that was part of the agenda. Christian conquest. Because Emperor Haile Selassie will tell us straight, say, I'm a Christian. You understand? And all Rasta man use a Christian Bible. All of them. You get me? I have a 1611 King James Version Bible right here with the other kind of Bible, same way. Enough other literatures we keep. Enough other literatures. We don't limit ourselves. So when we are say freedom, free dominion, free domain, it means just that, man. We don't need no kind of restriction, man. Whether politically, whether religiously, nor whether commercially. You know? We are talking about just being free. Yeah, man, and we don't have a problem existing harmoniously with all other systems, period. You know what I mean? So it's a step-by-step process. So we are not here to play. We are not here to dream. And we are not here to drift. We have work for do, man. And we are do the work. And we have first and knowledge of things. And we are take things step by step. We not necessarily have no interest in interfering with interstate or intra-state commerce. So we address our work people. We address the free people. We address aborigines. We address even the indigenous. You know what I mean? Because we have let us see if I can find this. Information while we're there. I'm like talk about the Charter of New England 1620. Yeah, man, the Charter of New England 1620. I go read a little bit of it. And them thing here for my common people. When you see me I bring all them type of thing here forward, I just bring some information for my people where them can do them own local research and just know say boy what we are say, you know, them can just go qualify these information. We're not insane, we're not crazy, we're not belligerent, we're not combative, we're not adversarial, we just I bring truth. You get me? That's it. So my thing I said Charter of New England, 1620. It said James, by the grace of God, King of England, Scotland, France, and Ireland, defender of the faith. Which faith him a defend? Etc. To all whom these presents shall come, greeting, whereas upon the humble petition of diverse of our well-disposed subjects, who am subjects, that intended to make special plantations in the parts of America between the degree of 34 and 45. People, one can read them kind of document here and see say boy, you know, one thing with the Romans people. The Romans them keep meticulous records. So on how much things you know cannot find. It's just that the accessibility might limited. Cause if you don't have resource or connection, then you don't get certain places. You know what I mean? However, them always have to put certain things public for the public can at least say yeah. You know what I mean? Them did publicize these things. The public was aware. And by the public now respond or rebut certain things, then them must say the public, you know, consent. So people have to just do their own research and not allow nobody, not even I, to just talk things and tell them things. You understand? You have some people have a style where when you bring information, them nobody watch the information, you know. Them come try find certain, them try attack you as a man or attack your character as a man in order to discredit your information. I know do that. If a man where a sissy bring information, then from the information correct, me work with the information. Me not have to work with the sissy, whether within a man. Not have to work with that. You know what I mean? I mean, I have a problem I talk freely and plainly because I am a free man. The man can't tell me, say, boy, my attitude wrong when I'm a grown man. Take that to your slave. That is a part of your corporation. So a lot of misinformation is out there. And as we move forward, you know, we make certain correction. For me personally, I don't have no issue with my public officials, with my public officers. And I saw me I correct the thing. Yeah, man. Because I am now in honor, always in honor. But commercial dishonor, oh yeah. Because we have to challenge the thing. So now that I've maintained and attained my commercial honor, because I've settled, listen again, acknowledge, accept, and settled all matters. And when we say settle, we mean settle and close that specific account. Yeah, man. And me have to say salute to our chief judges. And you guys know yourselves. You don't want to mess around, you know, but a complete respect. Yeah, man, a complete respect. Our public officials now, different from the 1940s and the 1950s and the 1930s and the 1920s, a different kind of people that they know. And all of them choose to sell out or choose to, adhere to legality when legality is opposed to lawful conduct. So you have some honorable people there, and I must salute these people. You have some people where even though them under pressure, them a demonstrate, and they have demonstrated to I. So them a move with clean hands. Yeah man, our Honorable Chief Judge Chester Crooks is one of those man. Our Honorable Chief Judge Madam Maddox are one of those people. These people have clean hands, and only through me can say that. Why me can say that is because even though I go through all of what I go through, you understand? I know it could have been way much worse. I'm going to demonstrate that with Leonard Percival Howell. I've demonstrated that. Because what is legal is not necessarily lawful. So, a lot of things me not agree with anymore out there, period. A lot of what people are teach on YouTube and all of these things. Boy, I reach a point now where I can shut off my thing and close my door and not have no more interest, truly. Yeah man, only because I'm a first-hand knowledge of my experience. It's impressive when we can sit on this island here and say, yes, me enter a private setting when it concerned my matter, and this was a traffic court setting. When I say private, the court shut down people. If you're not affiliated with the proceeding, with that specific matter, you could not enter that courtroom. And this is why I have to say, salute to our Chief Judge, Madam, because she really, at the first, you'd say, official will conduct the proceedings just like how me keep on. I say, you can't have me in a public setting and I have to carry, deal with this thing private. And I could deal with the matter on a more official level. And that was accorded to I. And I have to say, complete respect. When I went to court on the 9th of November, Tuesday, I went with a energy where I just decided that I'm going to spend all day. And through me already chose to settle this matter because only I can settle this matter. The system can't settle it. I have to settle it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go with a whole bunch of respect. You know what I mean? Because normally me is a man rude and disrespectful and belligerent. Me always share information and teach. And I'm not going to lie. The whole system give I that same respect what I show. In court, are the very same thing. Yeah man, and only because it was a private setting, may I tell you say that was a sweet court setting. When I can divulge the things that I'm doing, but me I tell you, when you say a man like me, where I am no comedian, I am no comic. You know what I mean? But when we can afford to have the people really laughing in that place, then me I say, yes, this is how it's supposed to be. Business friendly. Not this adversarial like, no man, not at all. So that was an experience where, yeah man, me have to say complete gratitude. Because me I tell the item, forgiveness is the gateway to freedom. Because so when you go towards that place, you shall be persecuted, people. And that also is a test, people. Yeah, man, it's also a test, man. That's why them say the brave may fall, but never yield. And as an Awak Indian, as a man here, Nestorian king, sovereign man, I say bold and brave, firm and strong. We adhere to the universal order, much higher principle, the universal law, the laws of nature, natural law. So again, give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise. Give thanks and praise to the mystic laws of the universe and its protective functions and forces in nature that guide our thoughts and our path in all ways that are lawful, correct, and positive. Give thanks and praise. Knowledge over ignorance. Knowledge over ignorance. Correct knowledge over ignorance. Light dispel darkness. Light dispel darkness. Yeah, man. And reason. When man can come together and reason, that is a spark of the divine. Yeah, man, we have to aspire for the divine things, to conform ourselves to nature. And them aspiration there, we have to try acquire. Not this commercial, financial security. What is that? People say they want financial security. You know what you ask for? What is finance? And what is to be secured financially? Are you aware of the words that you're using and the spirits that you're invoking? Truth is supreme. That's what our thing there. Anyway, truth there, we're gonna hang out with it. We keep party with truth. Yeah, man. Step by step. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude.